Hello, y'all. Welcome back to Bam Bam Route TV. I'm Bam Bam, aka the 411 Giant. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know when my next video coming out. On this here, we got on episode 2, part 2, about GOAT, my co-defendant. As I told you in the present thing, GOAT, we all grew up together. He's about 6 years, 5 to 6 years older than me. He's one of my older homies, and Goat, we was in a conspiracy together, and Goat ended up with, I think, 24, 24 years. He ended up with 24 years in the conspiracy, and Goat was, like I said, Goat was a flashy, as I said in the first episode and everything. He was a flashy guy, wore all this jewelry and everything. I always see him. He gonna be flashed out. He gonna have rings, jewelry. He gonna be driving a Jaguar, Cadillac, Maximum, whatever. He gonna have the best of the best things. He gonna have it, and that's how he was. He didn't make no qualms about it. So now, as we moving on, and it started coming to the end of our reign, everybody was, we was doing our thing. We was trying to be still. Everybody was doing their own thing, and we were still hanging in the spot. As I said, every year they would throw a big old party. Goat would host it. Goat, pretty much supply everything and going on. Money wasn't no thing, was no issue back then. And so we had people from everywhere, and they had people talking about our parties. All in Texas, Mississippi, all name Tennessee. People was talking about the parties that we have down there and everything. And as I said, I used to be there. I used to be down there with two, three of my wives, and we be in the party. Everybody just having fun. So now, but we was also known to go. We would go to the parks. We would go to different parks and stuff, and we try to go there and have fun. And a lot of us go, and we be all us be together. Most time we move together. We'll all be together. And so we went to. So in this incident here, we went to Ford Park, and we went to Ford Park, and they had some incidents out there, and there was a shooting was going back and forth and them stuff. So we left. We always was the suspects in everything until it was proved that it wasn't us. We was always our name was the first one to come up. So as we riding back because of the things that going on in the park, the shooting and stuff. So we ride back behind each other. So it's like probably 10 cars us all in line. So we in a B line. We going back down to the bottom. So the police see us going down to the bottom. So I guess somebody they call in. So they go and they start blocking the streets in order to let us go right on through. So they blocking our red lights and everything, let us go on through. And now they brought those videos up in the court. And when they brought the videos up in the court, they showed the videos. The officer they said, why, if y'all had them as suspect coming from an incident up there in the park, thank God nobody was really hurt, but coming from this incident in the park, why are y'all not trying to detain them? Why don't y'all just stop the last car and then detain the last car, and therefore then do it again, detain the last car at the next stop until you can get as many of them as you can? And the officer response to him was, we can't do that with them. We can't do that with the bottom boys, because if we stop that last car, every last one of the other cars going to turn around and come back. They don't care about us being the police or what. They coming back. They not going to leave their people. And so he said we don't have the manpower. We don't have the manpower nor the firepower to do that. And so he said that's why we let them go on. Then we go investigate it, and then we try to come back and grab whoever been responsible. But we go try to investigate to see did they do anything or what happened, and what happened if we can find witnesses. And so he said, so that's why we didn't stop him. But that day we had not done nothing. We were just making sure each other was safe going home because of other things that happened. So we go and we come around and we stop by the store. We stop by the store, we go in there and get cases and cases of liquor and go in the bottom and go finish party. Anytime we come from somewhere, we go down in that bottom. You know you can meet us in the bottom partying, laughing, joking, having fun. Now, through the feds observing this, GOAT, I'm thinking the one who testified, the dude who testified against us, I think he probably tipped him out. That GOAT was going, he had the footage of us coming from the park and doing our little ride and everything. So he had a lot of different pictures and videos of us. So he was going to get me and most of the other dudes, most of the top dudes. He was going to get us a copy made. So all of a sudden he goes to get the copy made, and then the police pull him over, which it was the feds too. They pulled him over and said that need to search his car. So they searched his car and they found a rock in his car. They found a rock in his white Cadillac. Now everybody in the bottom, probably in Shreveport, know good and well, GOAT ain't gonna have no rock in his car. GOAT ain't gonna have nothing in his car, but he definitely ain't gonna have no rock in there. Go see a rock, he probably stomp it on the ground and going on that. That's like a speck of sand. That's like a special speck of sand on the beach to individuals like at that time. So anyway, they plant the rock, they go in there, they take it, they take all the films, then they copied them and they studied them and copied them. They studied them so that when they raided us, they had those videos. Now, this is what get to this episode with me and GOAT. GOAT had a situation when he was younger in which instead of going to jail over a situation, he went to the military. He would deal his time in the military, went to serve in the military. So now GOAT, in my perspective, he was about getting the money. He wasn't no coward. He will shoot. But he was about the money. He was about the money. He was about the flash. He was about that. He wasn't about the camaraderie. It was about, I love y'all too, but I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to get money. I ain't, I ain't spending no more money on y'all than I have to. I ain't sharing no more money than I have to. And, just simple as that. It was all business with him. So anyway, they get the tapes and everything like that. So now, boom, feds come hit us. They got all the tapes and stuff. So when I'm going through the discovery stuff and going on, I'm seeing them. They got all the tapes, but my mind is at that time, I'm thinking, how did they get these tapes? What kind of? I'm saying this some kind of game. I said, man. So my mind honestly started thinking. I said, man, maybe GOAT. I don't know, man, maybe GOAT. Trying to save himself because maybe we need to look at him a little closer. You know what I'm saying? And I said because he always been a person who put himself first. Yeah, he make no qualms about it. So I go up when I read some of the documentations and stuff. I grew up and I'm talking to Dunn. I'm like, look here, man. They kept me back in straitjacket. They said I had too much influence and I had no respect for authority. And I was always starting a riot or getting into it with officers. So they put me back in a 2-man cell in the back, which I pretty much stayed there. I stayed 1 man. I was the only one in there for the majority of the time. Sometimes they put 2 different peoples in there. They tried to put 2 different peoples in there. Both of them end up at different times. Both of them end up trying to choke themselves they choked themselves unconscious with the phone, and I had to beat on the door to get the people to come get him out. So they stopped. They wouldn't put nobody else in there with me. They assumed, or they said that I had choked the individual, but Maybe they mental patients or something. But now I go up to the front. I go see my wives on Sunday. I got an hour to see them. I mean, two may come, three may come. So, but I have to keep a few minutes to talk to my co-defendant because that's the only time I get to talk to him. So I talk to wife number one. I see her for about 15 minutes. Wife number two be waiting, and when she leaves, she'll come right there. Then so I'll see who I can see, but I usually wouldn't see them for 15 minutes on that Sunday. Then I go back there and talk to my co-defendants. And I'm in the middle. They got me in the middle where you visit in the city jail. People know how the old city jail is. I'll sit there and I give me some usually they had me some alcohol up there. They had me some gin or some pizza or something that we done got in. So I'm sitting here and I'm talking to Don and I'm telling him, I said, man, look here, man. And he was sharing some he was sharing the information with the case. Though I said, man, no, don't be. He called Goat over. And I said, man, don't call dude over, man. I don't listen here. I was asking him questions about stuff I was hearing on the street. I said, well, why is dude got this car? Why is dude this here? What is this here? What is this? And he like, oh man, he called Goto. I said, man, nah, man, get on. Man, I don't want to talk around, dude, man. But something ain't right, man, going on. So go, like, what you mean, man? What nothing right, man? Shit, man, I'm in this here too. I'm in this here for real, man. I'm in this here too. I ain't no different than you. I'm such. I said, no, you're a lot different from me. He said, but I tell you what, I may not be with all that crazy stuff, but I'm in this here. I ain't selling out to nobody for nobody. So I'm listening to him, and I'm being honest. I'm listening to him, and I owed him a big apology afterwards, But I listened to him, but I'm just going by what I was seeing and what I had noticed. So now, me and Don, that was really was fight number 4. I mean, Don, I'm telling him, man, Don, like, man, I'm son. So I said, man, I ain't trying to hear that. So I reached through the bars and I slapped Don. I said, man, I tell you, I ain't trying to hear this. I slapped Don, then I bagged all the way. It's a little hallway. We was in a little hallway. So I bagged back up to the other side of the bars. Man, that son gun, I don't know how he did it. That man reached through there and slapped me back, and that man slapped me back, and I said, man, how the heck this dude reach? Man, that dude arm was so long, man. I said, how the heck this dude? I said, man, that's going on, man. Man, listen to me, man. I said, all right, man, we're gonna holler later, man. So I going on back down, going in there. But the end thing was, go. The man stayed solid. The folks offered him, they offered all of us, most of all of us. They offered me an opportunity. They said, hey, listen, we'll give you 5 years, and we make it even make that probation if you testify to some things that we already know about going done. And that's when I tried to slap my lawyer and the DA. And so that they know that wasn't gonna happen. I know it wasn't gonna happen with Dunn. But they offered Go. They offered Go the deal. Told him that if he would give them the man in Texas, whoever is supposed to be that Go was dealing with, that we was dealing with, that the bottom was dealing with, they would do the same thing for him. And he turned it down. Turned it down. He said, man, I ain't got nothing for y'all. I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. We going to trial, blah, blah, blah. And he went to trial with us. He stayed his case. He stayed true. And I give him much respect for that. He held on out, man. I had to apologize. I had to swallow that, man, that he stood on what he believed in. He wouldn't give up to nobody, even when my own big brother got up there, testified against us, even with testing live, really, even with some close friends did this, he stood his ground. So that's about this. I could say we go. I mean, that's a little roundup of it. I hope that's enough for y'all. And again, he's a bishop now. He's a man of the church. He don't hang out. He don't pretty much do nothing. I talk to him from time to time. I met with him, and like I said, I seen him at the service station a few days ago and everything. And we still our family. And all us is laying back, trying to do something different, trying to stay out the way. You know what I'm saying? We 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 old heads sitting on the sideline. I got my stories. He got his job. But anyway, appreciate y'all. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Know my next video coming out. So that's the video for Go for you, bro. Hope you like it.